The Wild Trees, A Story of Passion and Daring by Richard Preston. My name is Zachary Walker. Today is March 24th, 2019, and this is a critical review. Richard Preston is an American author, an amateur tree climber, nonfiction writer, as well as a journalist for the New York Times. Through his nonfiction writing, he's been able to shed light on many things that are important to the public health of our country. Whether it's bioterrorism, whether it's zombies, anything that could be related to the public health and general interest of disease and other things of that nature, he can be credited to. He's actually the only person, not a medical doctor, to receive the CDC's Champion of Prevention Award for Public Health. But among all of these incredible accomplishments, Richard Preston is also an amateur tree climber. Being that he is an amateur tree climber, he wanted to understand how and why the scientific community has been able to get into these trees and receive the information they have. So he started his research and came across a group of people led by Steve Sillett and Marie Antoine, which led him to the creation of his book, The Wild Trees. The Wild Trees highlights the lives of amateur botanists through their quest to study coast redwoods. It was the late 80s. It was a time of tree climbing and exploration, but in the redwood canopies, that was hard to attain. The technology wasn't there. The safety aspects weren't present or available. So climbing the trees then was out of sheer bravery and luck to not fall to your death. However, the more they climbed the trees, the more they learned about the canopies. And the more they climbed, the more they learned how to reach these things safely. The better their technology got, the better their equipment got, the more data they could attain and give to the rest of the world. The book itself is nonfiction. It's full of scientific facts and methodologies, but it's written in a way like a novel. It's enthralling to the audience. It keeps the reader going. The main purpose of the book is to create a strong interest in protecting our environment, especially redwoods in this case, because the book takes you on a journey, not just through the career of these scientists, but through their lives, their failures, and most promising moments. The ideas implanted in the reader's head throughout the reading of this book generates curiosity, and with that comes knowledge through research. The description of beauty and the need for future conservation outweigh the technical references the author provides. The book is not so much a technical reference guide, but a journey through the eyes of the first scientists to reach the top canopy of a once attainable viewpoint. Influence comes in many forms in this book. For one, coast redwoods were once thought to be too tricky to climb, yet a group of young botanists were able to get to the top, and they were able to keep going to the top. These canopies were mostly unexplored, but the scientists provided new information and research for what actually lived in these higher altitudes. The book itself sparks an interest in the general public, creating that interest gives the reader a sense of wanting more. And with wanting more comes knowledge. And the more knowledgeable you are about things in the environment, the more you want to protect them for future generations. The writing style draws the reader in and holds their attention. The book is written almost in miniature biographies of each people in the story and their personal journeys that got them to where they are. Of course, this through studying the biggest trees in the world and wanting to be better naturalists. The book flows very well throughout, almost as if told in a face-to-face setting. It's full of wonderment. It generates incredibly strong interest in the environment and perpetuates a discussion of conservation, and habitat protection. The writing style of the book never lets the reader lose track of the story. It's not just to highlight some very important scientific figures, but to bring interest to the world around you, no matter where you live. The need to bring attention to the protection of our environment is very important. This book shows that you can come from any walk of life and make a difference, even if you have never climbed a tree or have written a master's thesis on lichens. It can be anybody. The Wild Trees definitely takes the reader on a complete journey from the ground level all the way to the top of a redwood canopy. Through extensive research and self-interest, the author is able to create a deep interest in habitat conservation and provide a creative imagination outlet for every reader. The delivery was creative and gave the reader a true sense of being in the trees with the climbers. It also provided priceless data for the scientific community and motivated future generations to explore, as well as protect our environment. Thank you for sitting with me on this critical review. Have a good day.